Okay, just wait for people to get on here. What's up, Matthew? Hi. How's it going, Tony? What's up, Nate? Chased by a bear. Cool. Russia. Bone soup, you know it. Hey, Wendy. Hey, Crimson. Hey, Lewis. Let's give it another minute or two. We'll get started. Hey, I didn't know you could change the... See if this does anything. Is that weird? How do I look? How about now? Do I look older? That's funny. Still here, yeah. Not for long though. A few more souls to save maybe. Hey Linda, welcome. Hey Jay. Looking toward May 14th. Yeah, that's a prophetic day. We'll see if we get that far though. A lot of people are looking sooner. Something God's been talking to me about is... Actually, let me get my iPad up because I'm going to have to read some stuff to you. Oh yeah, Pink Moon Sunday. I did see someone was talking about how they got the word pink Holy Spirit ring or something like that. What was I saying? Anyway, I'm looking sooner than May 14th because God's been talking to me about how it won't be by the world's timeline. Things are going to happen by his timeline, and it's going to catch people off guard. It's going to come like a trap, and it's going to come suddenly. Never put dates on something, only in the Father in heaven knows the time or day. That could be true, but the verse that people use for that actually is not talking about the rapture. If you read it in context, it's talking about the day heaven and earth will pass away, which is different from the rapture, but maybe we will know, maybe we won't, I don't know. But I am looking at what God's saying to me, that it'll come suddenly and that it won't be on man's timeline. And I'm saying to myself that that probably means it's going to be very soon, because I'm looking at some of the events around the world, like Erdogan pushing his election forward to I think it's like June now, and the moving of embassies to Jerusalem, and the a possible impending war between Israel and Iran. And it just seems to me that man's timeline is quickly approaching, and so if God's timeline is coming sooner, that it will catch men off guard, um, then it has to be here really soon. I'm thinking like before May 14th. So I wanted to read you, though. God gave me this verse. He gave me Hosea chapter 4, verses 1 through 10. Okay, so this says, "Hear the word of the Lord, you Israelites, because the Lord has a charge to bring against you who live in the land. There is no faithfulness, no love, no acknowledgement of God in the land. There is only cursing, lying, and murder, stealing, and adultery. They break all bounds, and bloodshed follows bloodshed. Because of this, the land dries up, and all who live in it waste away. The beasts of the field, the birds of the sky, the fish in the sea are swept away. But let no one bring a charge, let no one accuse another, for your people are like those who bring charges against a priest. You stumble day and night, and the prophets stumble with you. So I will destroy your mother. My people are destroyed from a lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I have rejected you as my priest. Because you have ignored the law of God, I will ignore your children. The more priests there were, the more they sinned against me. They exchanged their glorious God for something disgraceful. They feed upon the sins of my people and relish in their wickedness. And it will be like people, like priests, I will punish both of them for their ways and repay them for their deeds. They will eat but not have enough. They will engage in prostitution and not flourish, because they have deserted the Lord to give themselves." So, pretty strong rebuke against Israel. God is continuing to talk to me about Israel, and his judgment is coming upon the land very soon. His eyes, it seems to me, have turned to Israel, and the day of reckoning over there is at hand. But he will fight for his people. He will fight for his people, and there will be a remnant that's saved, but not before there is destruction. Destruction will come upon them. I also wanted to talk to you briefly about something that I've been feeling God's doing in the bride. And maybe some of you have sensed this, that there's a increasing discomfort for you in this life, that things seem to be getting worse and worse in your life. And maybe that's happening in a job or in a marriage, in your family. It could be happening in all sorts of different ways. Maybe it's happening in multiple ways. But I believe what God is doing, I believe he's cementing your true identity. He's revealing to you your true identity. That he's removing all other identities. Because the only way you can understand something is when it's placed against a background of something else. So when you look at yourself, the way you understand yourself is typically when you place yourself against a background. So sometimes that background is a job, sometimes that background is your family, sometimes it's a marriage. You place yourself against those backgrounds, and it reveals to you certain attributes about yourself, and you understand yourself according to the way you contrast against that background. But the way God sees you and wants you to see yourself is as his child, nothing more and nothing less. And so sometimes I think what he's doing is he's removing the other backgrounds. He's not allowing you to see yourself against the background of your family, or he's allowing your job to fail so that your identity is not in your job, so that all that remains, all that you can hang on to is Him. All that you're able to hold on to is Him, and that'll be the only background left for you in which to understand your identity. I think that's what He's doing for the bride right now, because we're so close to leaving. This is a final cleaning house. If you ask me, this is a final house cleaning of His bride. So He's removing things from your life that interfere with Him. I think of how God gave Abraham the promise of Isaac, right? And Abraham loved Isaac so much, and Isaac became such an important part of Abraham's life. And I think Abraham probably began to have some of his identity in being Isaac's father. And what God did for Abraham is He had Abraham put Isaac on an altar, and Abraham believed that he was going to have to kill Isaac. But what God was really doing was He was just removing that idol from Abraham's heart. That promise, that gift that God had given him had become an idol to Abraham, and God had to remove it so that God could once again be central in Abraham's life. And the same sort of thing happens in our life in many different ways. Sometimes we make idols out of jobs, we make idols out of people, we make idols out of family or marriages, and sometimes God is removing those things so that He can occupy His throne once again in your soul, in your heart. And it just seems to me that the bride is going through this process right now. So just something I've been thinking about in terms of what all of you might be feeling. I know the heat is being turned up, and I know that as we get closer, the fire increases. And I know that your life is feeling uncomfortable, and mine is too. And so I just wanted to share those things that I believe the Lord's been speaking to me about it. We need to pray for Israel. Yes, absolutely. I've been feeling that on my heart too. Keep Israel in prayer. Looking for a departure this month, says Jesus Girl. I hope it is in April. There's not very many days left in this month. But if it's not in April, I'm definitely believing for a May rapture. I am personally believing that it will be before the 14th, before the 70 years. I mean, I know according to the Jewish calendar, they celebrated the 70 years like last week, but I'm looking at the May 14th day. Something happening on May 6th. What is it? Do you know? Let it be April, Lord. Yes, definitely. Definitely. I missed you guys. I was out for a few days. I kind of really just wanted to check in and see if any of you had been given anything. So Crimson says the pink moon has 6 names: pink moon, egg moon, hare moon, fish moon, sprouting grass moon, and was that paschal moon? So it has a lot to do with Easter, it looks like. Fish moon would be reminiscent of Christianity, possibly. You know, I had watched that video that you're referring to, where they were talking about that, and they had been given a word months ago and didn't understand what it meant about pink ring, Holy Spirit, I think is the word, right? So they were thinking it may be referring to this pink moon coming up. I was thinking about, in reference to that, on the iPet Goat video, there's behind the little alien creatures in Alice, when they're watching the presidents dancing up front. Behind them is a picture of a hare. It's a big picture of a giant rabbit. So could it be referring to the hare moon? Possibly. Possibly so. Oh, you know what? I wanted to share something else with you guys too. So this is a really cool confirmation about this time frame as well. Let me see if I can pull up the actual email. I don't know if I have it available right now, but I'll give you a basic summary. Someone who watches our channel, it's her birthday today. And so happy birthday. She turned 34 today. So she emailed me, I think, 8 months ago or so. And she said, I had this dream. And in the dream, I went to meet you. She was referring to me. She said I was on some sort of talk show, and I had just saved a 7-year-old girl from aliens. And she flew to the talk show. So this seemed to be like where she had some sort of power to fly, like after the rapture at some point. So she flew to the talk show to meet me. This is how I'm understanding the dream. And she said to me, how old are you? And she said, I just turned 34. So for the past 8 months, she's been thinking the rapture would occur just after her 34th birthday. So she actually turned 34 today. So that was a really cool flirt for me. Something that I had forgotten about it, but she reminded me like last week, so I started getting excited about it again. But yeah, that was a cool one. Did anyone else have any interesting dreams or visions? Past couple days, I saw someone had a dream of a bear chasing them, which usually refers to Russia. Many people have had dreams of Russia attacking, and those dreams seem to be increasing. Sunshine something is her channel. Yeah, that's her. That's her. Friend had a dream of Jesus being with him. He works with tile, and he was almost done. He looked up and saw that time was running out, and he woke up afterward. He is so close. Yeah, I've been continuing to feel more and more as if it's going to spring like a trap. It's going to come suddenly, and people won't expect it. And there isn't very much time left before that. I mean, for that to happen. I mean, we're like on the verge of World War right now. So I heard a goodbye on April 14th in my spirit right after a prayer. I had a dream where I was running from the Russians. Yeah, my first Russia dream was 3 years ago, I think, before Russia even became the threat that it is now. Seeing numbers and symbols everywhere. Today I dreamed of a volcano erupting. 2 weeks ago I dreamed about a thunderstorm while working on a car. I felt in my spirit it was the beginning of the next day, that there was a thunderstorm at night, and that was the night that the US bombed Syria. I still really believe that us bombing Syria was the beginning of the war over there. I think it's going to keep escalating. It's not escalating as fast as I had thought it would, but it is still escalating. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I just saw that Stephen Ben Danoon posted a video of cyber warfare being conducted by Russia and Syria. I also saw that Iran has been unloading their equipment in Syria, and that that Russia is moving an S-300 missile defense system into Syria. So everything is in place. I did a video about going away dress for the honeymoon where I was selecting purple ribbons. Purple ribbons are in Esther chapter 1. Interesting. I wonder if it points to any certain timeline. I guess the Esther timeline's kind of over for this year, though, huh? But we're definitely Esther, the bride. I had a dream where Russia occupied half the Dome of the Rock and Israel owned the other half. Huh, I could see that happening. I agree that you're right about the bride giving up all other roles. My daughter is getting married on May 12th and not including me. Well, that's sad, but yeah, absolutely. I think we're being removed from this world in every way you could imagine. And it is not comfortable at all. It's very difficult, actually. I woke up today in my spirit. I saw on my left a white, beautiful light above me. I was like, Jesus? And I actually woke up and turned to my left, but nothing was there. Esther is also an Easter, and some believe the real Easter is about to come. What date? This weekend? Is that when they think Easter is? I mean, who knows what the calendar's, right? April 30th through May 1st. And that's the pink moon, I think, isn't it? April 30th through May 1st is the pink moon. We're being purified before the wedding like Esther. Yes, definitely. Purified by fire. But I'd much rather this fire than the next fire. Second Passover, I think they're saying is the real Easter. Second Passover. Yeah, second Passover seems prophetic too, doesn't it? Like the second Passover would be for the Gentiles, almost, I would think. But yeah, this weekend's high watch for sure. I'll be watching. And I know there was that. I remember. Oh, I forget who posted it now. But I remember there was a young kid, like maybe 2 or 3. Well, they're old enough to talk. I think that maybe there were 3 or 4, but they had a dream where Jesus told them that we would leave before Israel's 70th birthday. It wasn't, the dream wasn't exactly just him telling them that, but that was the basic idea. And the person who posted it was, they were looking at May 14th as that 70 years, so it's kind of what I'm watching too, sometime before May 14th. I was washing a plane today and I kept hearing the train horn go off. Dreaming I was ordering 2 cakes for a big get-together. The first one was a white cake with strawberry filling. The other one was a chocolate cake. Man helping me order told me he was going to use Ruth filling. Now that's interesting. That points obviously to Pentecost, right? I think. I mean, the book of Ruth is all about Pentecost, I'm pretty sure. I was looking at that very heavily last year. I really felt pointed to Pentecost last year. I learned so much about Pentecost in reference to the rapture last year. If we're still here next week, I'll do a video about everything I know about Pentecost and its references to a possible rapture. Thanks, Chris. Bless you too. Had a vision with a grass cross and 3 white roses, and had a dream last night. It was very dark. It felt like after we leave, it's going to be a very dark place. Yeah, I think the 3 days of darkness happen as soon as we leave. So the light of the world's taken out, and then 3 days of spiritual darkness hit right away. Many people have seen in their dreams and visions, they see a dark sky. They open the door and see a dark sky and realize that the tribulation has begun. John had a dream about giving birth to Nathan. Yeah, I remember I believe Nathan's near-death experience is happening now. I believe this is the time that he saw. Because remember, he said it wouldn't seem like a big event, but it would just keep escalating and it would turn into a world war. A lot of my dreams where I'm returning items. I pray for healing of my body. What you got, Matthew? What do you need healing for? How do I witness to my coworkers that are military? I don't know. I look for the leading of the Spirit. I'm witness to people in different ways. Sometimes I just bring up obscure topics about the end times because people seem to like that sort of thing, and then I let it lead into talk about Jesus. But other times I'll look for someone to have some pain, and then I'll pray for them and use healing to bring up the topic. Other times I have videos of like exorcisms I've done, deliverances I've done. Sometimes I'll use that to create a conversation about Jesus. I don't know, just however God leads me. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I don't like to be that guy that just walks up and says, hey, do you know Jesus? And I like to do it in like more creative ways, but Spirit leads us all differently. I suppose the calendar is off by a month. Pentecost maybe in June instead of May. That's possible. I hope we aren't waiting that long, but it's possible. Dreamt I laid down to pray to Father, then smoke and incense was coming up for me and I flew up. That's cool. The Bible talks about the prayers of the saints being incense, right? Steve Fletcher is looking at April 27th. 7 months and 7 days from when God told me no wine until the rapture. That's interesting. I hope so. I mean, that's only a few days away. Remember, I was talking to you last time about the cycles of 7, and the next date I'm looking for an event is April 27th. And I know Todd from It Is Finished is looking at April 27th also. A lot of people are. I wasn't really looking at it as the rapture, but it certainly could be. I was looking more for like an escalation event in the war, but who knows? I'm open to it. Could be today. Steve's been looking at every day. He's relentless. Definitely. I don't know how he does it, but that's his ministry. He keeps going. He brings encouragement to a lot of people, so God bless him. It's also the second month, 5th day when the walls of Jericho fell and people went up. I'm gonna have to research that. That seems interesting. Alright guys, well, Got to get back to work. Lunch is over. About done with my bone broth for the day. So I'll talk to you all soon, okay? Hopefully in the air. Hopefully not here. All right, God bless you. Bye.